There we go. So this is the new gen Independence. So, we've talked about the new gens quite a bit. We wanted to show you the three. We temporarily rolled the two off. The plant was just looking a little sticky. We can see some growth in there coming up. So we wanted to get that to poof out a little bit. So it's just a temporary roll off. We'll be putting those twos back on by the 15th. I don't see why not. But the guys that went through there, I feel pretty good about the stuff we pulled, but it was getting to the point where we just needed to hold a little bit. And I want those things to look perfect when they go out the door. So I don't want to disappoint anybody, but we do have the threes still currently on. We got availability on those. Just be patient on the twos. We'll be back in business here very shortly, but great plant. This more has the growth like a velvet does, so kind of a low mound type of boxwood, and you got the benefits of boxwood blight resistance. So that's what's great about these. So, all right, next Cam Cypress mop. Wanted to show you now that we've got a little bit of heat. They've really colored up nice. They're getting out of that winter color where they do tend, over winter to get a little bit of brownish color in them. That's normal. But since we've had some heat early, they've really got that nice golden color now. Really look alive. They're really a showstopper. So, if they're sitting on a lot or anything, they're definitely going to draw somebody's eye to it. We do have 2,500 of these. We are out of threes at this point. Twos, I'm sorry, twos. But we should be back in business on twos not very far into May. It'll probably be around the third week of May or so that we'll be able to get more twos on inventory and get going again. So that's good news. But we got plenty of threes that we can still sell. So plethora 16 candles. We just got a fantastic crop. You can see here how well the branching is, really full. This is a summertime bloomer, okay? So it's more going to bloom in time with hydrangea paniculatas, about that time period. Extremely fragrant bloom. This one here, it has green foliage, but it is, great for attracting wildlife, hummingbirds, butterflies, all that kind of stuff. Extremely fragrant when it does bloom in the summer. So might be a little bit tougher sell this time of year, early spring, but we were pretty short on this one last year. So we were able to get our numbers up, and we still have some availability. Just a fantastic looking plant. This would be a great plant, great sizing. For anybody, from the garden center, but when it comes to the wholesaler, this should be a great plant. They can almost upsell it, so that's good news for them. So see if you can push it with those attributes. Ilex blueprints. So we have blueprints, Blue Princess. We're going to keep rolling through the holly here. Royal Family continues to ship really strong, but we want to show you it's very possible we're going to run short on those Royal Family. I can't quite put my finger on why all of a sudden we're really booking hard. I think I'm just thinking it has to do with the guys down south took damage. There's some bigger growers in Oklahoma and stuff like that. They took damage, believe it or not, from the fires in Oregon last summer, late summer. Some of the holly out through those areas, because there was smoke and they didn't see sunlight for a lot of days, they actually defoliated, partially defoliated or totally defoliated. Then they rebroke. And I think some of those guys are taking that inventory off. They're not going to ship that until later, which doesn't do anybody any good for spring season. So I think that's why we're starting to see a little bit of more interest on our holly here. because some of the cheaper players have been kind of pushed out from the weather. So be talking about it. There might be an opportunity to get in there and get some more of these sold. So, you know, we have maids, we have prince, princess, we got availability. Look through that and keep pushing it. I know holly's not something we tend to put a lot of effort towards. Kind of a staple plant, but it seems like there's some opportunity, and it sounds like there might be a few people getting disappointed from other suppliers out there. So just keep your ears open. Juniper Blue Star, what do we get? Yeah, 2-gallon. So just excellent size on this one. Cheryl, we're out of threes, correct? Yeah. So we're out of threes right now, but we really tried hard. We brought some in. We actually brought some pre-finished stuff in last summer and finished it off so we get a bigger size. You know, the industry tends to produce a 2, so I can find those more available than a 3. But we have 1,400 of these, but you can see the size. So make sure you're talking about the size. I know that a lot of our customers really want that 3. I understand that. I'm pushing for that with the growers. But we do have these great looking 2s, you know, got great size, really towards that 3-gallon size. I hate using the term oversized because it's a perfect package for that pot, but it's definitely on the larger end of the scale. So see what you can do there. Pronanus, got a great looking crop of Pronanus. You know, this is a spreader, low grower. You know, just an all around, it can be used in all different types of applications. You can put it in rock gardens, cover a big area. You can use it in parking lot situations. People make topiaries out of them. You can do all kinds of crazy things with this thing. We got great size, so make sure you're showing this size so you can cover a lot of square footage with one plant. So that is a great selling point, especially for the landscaper. They won't maybe have to buy as many. So make sure we're talking about the size that we have, definitely compared to some of our competitors out there. So it might give you an opportunity. So this is definitely one you want to push hard with the re-wholesaler and the landscaper. What do we got next? Puncheons glauca, B&B, or parviflora glauca. I'm sorry, there we go. So we still have these available. We just have 70 of them, but they're great looking plants. We've done a lot of trimming to help fill these in. You can see there. Usually parviflora glauca is going to be a lot more sticky than that plant there, but we do a lot of trimming to give it a little more body and form to it. People tend to like that a lot better than that real open habit that sometimes can get. So yeah, these this photo here is of what, Cheryl, 60? Yeah. So we really push, you know, we don't count that real top pop on there. So you're getting a real nice plant there, you know, 72-inch tipping basically, and we list that as a 60. So make sure you talk about those things, and they're not going to get this little tiny plant that somebody's just, I've seen some that get shipped out there and they literally have about 4 or 5 branches and they call it a 60-inch. So that's not what this is. So make sure you show people this photo. So Spirea double play artist. You can kind of see in there, it's hard to tell, but there is some leaves popping out in there, which is fine. It will continue to, I would imagine by next week, you're going to see, you know, full leaves out on these. We're a ways away from any kind of flower. Most Spirea are going to flower sometime towards the end of May into June. That's really when they get going. But the nice thing about Big Bang, Double Play Artist, some of the other ones, you got the golds too, that, you know, you have foliage color to look at. So Artist has this really nice green to burgundy leaves on it. So it's eye-catching all year long. And then it gets a real nice heavy load of repeat blooming, kind of pinkish, dark pink flowers. So great plant to have there. We don't have a huge amount available. We have 300. I will tell you that the next crops of spirea coming on are looking good. I feel pretty confident that before Memorial, before the end of May, we'll be able to start looking at moving more of these spirea crops on, especially in the golds. I know we're short on the golds a little bit. The crops are looking good. We've done some extra protecting on them to protect them from weather. So we'll be back in business on these spirea shortly, but we still got some great ones to book and ship. Little Princess, we were able to go ahead and go to that one. We were able to bring some more of these in to help out. We were getting close to being sold out, so we were able to bring some in. This is a more become a more common staple spirea. We still grow it. It still does very well. We pretty much on most everything else, we do Magic Carpet, and we do Tor, and we do Gold Mount and Little Princess. Other than that, from the old standards, we've pretty much walked away from most of it. It just doesn't perform as well as the proven winners. But Little Princess is one that does that still does very well. It's not going to repeat bloom as much as the proven winner types, but really for this low spreading type of spirea, they really don't have an option of a green leaf with that type of compact habit. So that's why Little Princess is still sought after. So, you know, hopefully you can get out there. We were out, so we just wanted to bring up, we brought some back in. We got 500 available. So that was something we didn't miss. We just were able to get them last minute through one of our partners out there. So see what you can do there. Let's see, should have a Weigelia. So this was more for, you know, we got great availability left on these, but this is more just to show you where the crop is today. So these photos are from yesterday. So you can see there's spilled wine that we're pulling. We got, you know, leaves folded out completely on it. We got some good color in them. The growers did a great job of getting light on them on time, doing everything they need to do. We tend to try to hold these back, so we don't want these to push out too much. So we're just going to let nature handle the flushing. Wine and rose is always later, but you can see there we're getting leaves. We're starting to get some color in there. We're going to push, you know, definitely the wine and rose. By the end of the month, we'll have nice full purple leaves, all that. If we didn't do, the growers didn't do the work they're doing with these, you would literally be shipping sticks at the end of the month, and that just doesn't seem to work. So make sure you're talking about these. We want to land them to them so they look like something, so they look like they got color. It's a great thing to have these, especially you know, by mid-month or so when people start to mill into the garden center. These things just stand right out with the ornamentals because of that real nice color. We're a ways away from any kind of bloom. We will tend to get some blooming in May, but it's more towards the end of May, June when they really start to bloom. And then they bloom through the early summer. So it's more about the foliage this time of year. So that's what we're pushing for. Okay, so just a little note about the weather. So we went into protecting mode. So we did a lot of covering yesterday. So we recovered, Avon did a lot of recovering. We did a lot of recovering to protect things. So there are plants out there that you still have to take care of. You still have to protect. You can't let them freeze. So we went out and we got some of that done. Yesterday, some of the spireas, Weigelia, things like that, anything that was pushing out. Some of the stuff was covered and protected, just venting. And then on the flip side, it's very important not to leave them covered too long, or you'll start to push out the wrong type of growth. You'll get that stretchy growth. not good. So it's extra labor. The guys really don't look forward to doing it, but you literally cover for a day or two and then you go back out and you uncover. So we're a long ways away from being out of the woods. I know next week looks great, but we tend to go on the moon phases. I don't want to get in the weeds too much, but the phase that we're looking at is around the 20th. That's really what we're predicting, where we're going to be in more safer harbor, maybe you could say. It's not a perfect science, but it's still very possible to get a hard freeze up to the 20th. Frost is a different matter. Frost can still do damage. That's more into May. But for us, we're not letting down our guard till we get to around the 20th there. And then we can be a little more relaxed on what we're doing. So we still got several weeks to go. If that conversation comes up with a customer, make sure that you're talking about protection. Now, protection does not mean taking an ornamental plant and putting it in a greenhouse. If you put it in a fully heated greenhouse, you can do a lot of damage to that plant. Most of the plants that we're growing just need to be protected from those freeze temperatures or maybe a frost. That doesn't mean heating them to 70 degrees all the time. You can push the growth out too far. Some plants can't handle the shock and they'll push out and die. So it's not always, people tend to think it's the right solution, but it's not. The ornamental plants out there that we have, you can protect everything from freezing. It's not going to hurt, but still try to keep them cooler through April. You're not doing any good by driving a lot of heat on them. So that's always something to think about. Now that's different from some of the perennials and definitely early annuals. That's a whole different ball game. But I still see people mixing those type of plants with ornamentals, and then the ornamental pushes out. It gets thin growth and it looks ugly towards May. You don't want to do. You're not doing anyone any favors by doing that. So just a couple little tips there. Digging's still going good. Probably with the way the weather looks, we're going to rush out there and get Amelanchier dug, whether we have basically the dig list or not. We'll just dig them all that are ordered because I don't think by the end of next week we would be able to dig an Amelanchier. So they're all sold, they're all booked. If we didn't get the order through yet for processing, we'll probably get it dug and above the ground. Jay will probably be looking at some of that stuff at Avon. I don't want to speak for them, what they would be looking at, but there are a lot of things that pushed pretty hard out there that we have to be careful of. So we're starting to get to that point. Okay,